Hey, hello. My name is Wei Wu, the Sony Senior Product Manager for the Media Solutions. And today I would like to introduce a product called Media Backbone Navigator X. We actually defined this product as, we say, more than a media asset management. So before we say that, at least the first thing you need to think is it needs to be a MAM first, right? And then based on really a lot of conversations with the major customers in this media industry, we think a really good MAM, it should be, number one, you should have a very powerful search feature, right? Because search is the most important thing to allow you to find the content. And then at this, age, you don't want have any like installed application or even multiple applications, and you don't know if you can install it at your Mac or even tablet. So you want to have a web-based portal to do everything. So in that case, a MAM system should provide a very strong web-based playback, right, player. And of course, when you have tons of the content, you will need to have an organization feature to easily organize your content, right? And ingest is always important. It's all file-based, right? You want to have a centralized import tool to do your ingest. And of course, metadata, right? You want to have a very flexible metadata schema. And then you need to think of where I store my content, right? Storage, hard disk, LTO, Sony ODA, it does not matter. It should allow you to store your contents anywhere, right? And last but not least, actually it's the most important things. It's easy to use. You don't want to take 2 weeks of the training to learn how to use a software, right? It's not a nonlinear editor tool. It's just a media asset management tool to allow you manage your content. So easy to use is the most important thing. So in this side, you will see the real Media Backbone Navigator X system. So this is the main GUI. When you log in, this is the first GUI you see, right? We actually divided this GUI as 3 portions. In the left side is the organization feature I'm mentioning, right? You can actually define any, like the traditional bin folders to manage your content, right? And you also can save a search criteria as a smart search to just do one click to find your content. And in the central area, you can see either a list view, right? And you can define all of your own metadata, what type of metadata you want to see in this list. Or you can see a PyCon view, right? With all the media files, but see the thumbnail. And when you just do one click, very quick, in the right side, you will be able to see all of your metadata. And your metadata schema is customizable. You can define your own metadata schema. And then you may ask, what I can operate this system, right? If you know how to use Google, you will be able to use this system because it's all about search, right? Find your content, run your workflow. No matter you are trying to do ingest or distribution, archive, send it to nonlinear edit, it's just a search, find your content, run the workflow. It's that simple, right? And when you do the search, it's just in here, like you search Google, let's say for example, you want to find any, for example, PDF. You just type and you find it, right? And then you type more keyword, like just you search Google, say PDF NAB, it's narrowing down, right? And you want to search video file, just do the search, and you can see how fast it is, right? It's very easy, very light, no any heavy operations. And of course, I know you may ask, say, well, when I have tons of the content, if I do a Google search, it will just like Google. It returns 10 pages. I still cannot find that specific content I want to find. We actually also provide an advanced search. So it's actually just in here, you do a click, it will show a panel, and then you can actually do we say search criteria generation, right? Just to keep adding, and you can select, say, asset type is audio video, and actor contains something. You can create your own search criteria, and you will not have to create every time. When you create a common search criteria, you can just save it, right? Once you save it, it will be saved as a small search in here. So you just do next time, you just do one click, it will perform the search. And you can see how fast it is. Let's say, for example, this one, it finds only one content, and you don't know what this is. Actually, you can say, click here, and then you click here. It will open this search criteria. Actually, it's a very complicated one. Archived equals no, so it's not archived yet. And asset type is audio video. And the update date is between like March 31st to April 11th, right? And the file title contains both NAB and demo. It's actually a complicated search criteria, but you can just easily save it as a small search, right? And then you say, well, you say powerful search, is that all? No, actually it's not. So for example, we can search more than metadata. So for example, you have a PDF file, right? And then you can actually double click open it. By the way, this is actually the player window. It can play back the video file. And even PDF, you don't need to open like Adobe. It can open the PDF in this embedded player, right? So for example, a PDF file does not have metadata, right? For search video file, you have, multiple metadatas, even the format, bitrate, duration, those type of things you can use to do your search. But a PDF, it does not have those rich metadata, right? And then you say, well, how I can find my PDF files? Well, these keywords inside of the PDF, they are also searchable. We index them. So for example, this slide has a word called enterprise man. And this enterprise man, this word, is not a metadata. It's just a word inside of this PDF document. So in that case, let me just show you. If you search enterprise man, what will happen, right? Let's search how you have all other content. And now you search enterprise man, less than 1 second, you find this PDF, right? So is that enough? No, not yet. All right, so let's say, for example, find a video file. Let's say this file, right? We have this file. And you double click. Actually, you can play back this video file. I will play back later, but just to see the search first. So we provide some small features to help you to do kind of rough editing or manage your content. So we have a feature called events. And this event means you actually can mark in, mark up one frame, or mark in, mark up one period, and you can add metadata. So for example, this one called chair, right? It's actually in here, it's just one frame. And this chair does not belong to this contents metadata. It's actually just the metadata for this one frame. So let's say, for example, if I want to search chair, again, less than 1 second, you find it, right? And then you double click it, it actually goes to this frame. And you find this specific frame just by this metadata, right? And of course, the playback. This is actually, it's playing back the proxy. We have an embedded transcode engine. We can generate proxy for you. We also can integrate third-party transcoders, Rosette, Vantage. And this one, you can see actually this proxy we generated as a high-res proxy. But by using this web-based player, it played back this proxy very smoothly, right? And of course, in your case, if you want to save your storage space, you can generate any transcode, we say preset, or you can say flavor, and have low-res proxy to save your storage space. That's also fine. So this is actually a portion, we say it need to be a MAM first. But we define this Media Backbone Navigator X product as more than a MAM. What means more than a MAM? Number one, workflow orchestration, right? Workflow actually, in my opinion, is the most important thing. Everything should be based on a workflow. You try to do an ingest, it's a workflow. You try to do archive, it's a workflow. We provide multiple tools to help you to do that. So why I mean that, I can show you. So for example, you say, I want to do an ingest, right? We provide a very strong, we call asset importer tool. It can help you to browse the online storage, do watch folder, browse even cloud, Amazon S3, and when you find a content, let's say for example, you find a content, this is the picture. I want to do an ingest, right? So I want to ingest this content into the system. That's number one thing I did. And I want distribute a content to somewhere. So for example, this file, I select, I say, I want distribution to master control room, right? One click, right? And this file, when you check status, it's actually online. You say, I want to archive it. So I want to archive to ODA. I did just 3 click, right? 3 clicks. And they are workflows. Why I mean they are workflows? Actually, you can monitor them. So go to this menu called the Workflow Monitor. You click it, you will be able to see a workflow monitor page. And you can see here, it's actually a register asset workflow, distribution workflow, archive workflow. You can see the status, progress, percentage, create date, file title, a lot of things, right? And even that, you say, well, this is just like a job monitor page. It's nothing special. But why I'm saying we are the workflow system is if you double click, you see the real workflow diagram. An ingest is an ingest workflow. It's not an ingest job. And these workflows, they are changeable, right? It's monitorable. You can see now it's an unlock asset, and you can see the progress part. It's real time. So for admin, it's very easy. You can see, what's the current state. If you have an error, you will see an X mark. You know which state failed, right? So, and I know, you have no chance to ask question in this stage, but I know what type of question you may ask. You will ask, how I can change this, right? Definitely. In our experience, more than 75% of the cases, you can actually change the workflow by using a configurator. We provide a very easy to use configurator. Let's say, for example, you want to distribute a file to a new storage location. How I create that workflow, right? Go to the setting and the workflow, find the distribution. And you can say, I can create a new preset, right? So for example, I say I want distribute to NAB booth, right? And then you can select the method, say, do you want a copy or transfer or upload? This is a copy, right? And then you can select a target folder, say, hey, here is a place I want to go. And then it's just a check mark. Do you need a transcode? Do you need a subclip? Do you need a QC? And then you can just say save. And a new preset was generated called distributed to NAB booth, right? And then admin can do this, very easy. For operators, it's even much easier. They go back to the asset manager page and they find the content, say I want distribute to that place. It's just clicking here and they can find this new submenu called distribute to NAB booth. So it's one click, right, for the operation. And the multiple check mark, pull down menu selection for the workflow building. And of course, so we call this is something like we call minimal invasive surgery, right? If you can do that, you don't want to open your stomach, right? But in sometimes, unfortunately, you have to open your stomach, right? So you say, well, I want to really create a workflow, not distribution. It's really my own workflow. Your configurator cannot support that. How I can do that, right? we actually also provide a feature called the workflow editor. This is a very strong feature which provides a workflow building capability. So I'm connecting to actually another server in the booth. It seems a little bit slow. So this is actually a workflow editor tool, right? This is what we call big surgery, the open surgery, right? In some cases, you have to do this, but we still provide this tool. So for example, I want to add a QC state. You can actually do a drag and drop in here, and then you can actually just delete this line and connect from here to here, and then connect to next. And you click the state, you will see the parameters. It's just you drag and drop, build your workflow, add your parameters. That's the open surgery. So we provide both tools. So this is how we call workflow orchestration. And of course, we actually have one more feature. You remember, every operation in Navigator X is based on the workflow, right? So you definitely would like to ask, well, as for example, senior manager, executives, I want to see a dashboard to see what happened in my entire facility. We actually provide a very strong tool called dashboard. So every workflow, they will be monitorable as a mash-opt dashboard, right? And you can select the range. You want to see the workflow you generated today or this month, right? And you can see different workflow you generate, how many workflow failed, and you can also monitor the system metrics. And also you can see the asset, right? How many contents you generated this month, this week, right? And again, this is actually just a default option. We provide the workflow, system, asset, 3 dashboard. But in the real case, you can tell us what you need. And we have the engineering team can help you to build your own dashboard. Okay, so this is how we call workflow orchestration. The next is Navigator X is also can be treated as a production map, right? So number one, we actually provide a plugin for Adobe. Adobe actually became more and more popular, right? We actually provide a panel inside of Adobe. So for editor, you actually don't need open Navigator X. You can stick on your Premiere. So when you open Premiere, you will be able to see a Navigator X panel just in here. And you can actually log in. You see the same thing as you open the browser, but you don't need to open like 2 GUIs, right? Navigator X will be embedded inside of the Premiere, and you can do your search to find your content. Once you find your content, you can actually easily either link the content or copy the content to Premiere, and then you can start your editor job. That's a seamless integration. And of course, we also have an Avid Media Composer workflow. For limited time, I will not show it today, but please feel free to visit our Navigator X booth to see that. And we also have some other features. So for example, we can create a storyboard, and then you can actually export the storyboard as a EDL to your NLE system. Or you can just easily find your content and say, I want export for NLE, and then you can select you want transfer the file to Avid or Adios, Final Cut, anything you can do, right? So Navigator X also can be treated as a production map. It's not enough, right? Archive is also important. So this also can be treated as an archive map. So we directly support Sony ODA, but we also have rich third-party plugins. We support ZenData, we support SGL FlashNet. So we also can use a traditional MAM, third-party HSM, and LTO solution for your archive. We also, of course, ODA belongs to Sony. So if you have both Navigator X and ODA, it's even better than the traditional middleware type of solution. It's only Navigator X and ODA. right? And it's very easy to do the operation. You can actually easily do archive, do retrieve from the menu, and when you find the video file, you can actually even mark in, mark out to do partial retrieve directly from the ODA. Yeah. So this is the archive map. Last but not least, enterprise map. You may have multiple buildings. You may have multiple departments. You may have multiple locations. We can actually provide the multiple Navigator X instances be installed at different locations, which includes cloud. So like this one, you can see, actually this Navigator X be deployed at Amazon cloud. So you can see this Amazon cloud node. And we also can see other Navigator X nodes in here. So this is what we call the multiple instances search. You can search across multiple Navigator X instances. You can have one Navigator X at your New York office. You can have the other Navigator X at your San Francisco office. And these two can see each other. They can do search across these two nodes. And you can do file exchange with these two Navigator X. And of course, we support cloud. We have a seamless integration with Sony C platform, but we also support Amazon S3. So when you try to ingest the content from cloud, it's still this centralized ingest page. But in here, for example, you have the cloud node. You will be able to see, you can browse the Sony C workspace. You can also browse your Amazon S3 bucket. And then you just find your content registered into your system. And for C, it's even better. You can actually browse the C workspace be inside of the Navigator X GUI, and you can do search with it, and you can get their metadata. So these are all the demo I want to show you today. But again, need to be a man first, right? Easy to use, powerful search type of lightweight man, plus a workflow orchestration feature and production archive. These things made one package called the Navigator X. Thank you. Thank you for your time.